Hello everybody, this is me, Spencer Bremrick, and today I'm going to be doing a slight review of Big World Big Adventures. So I saw Big World Big Adventures in the cinema on it was Wednesday I believe, and last week, and it's decent enough. It's a fine kids movie. It's just a terrible Thomas movie, I will say. And so anyway, I just have a sheet of paper here with a few points, and this is unscripted, so I have a few points here, and I'm just going to give topics. First of all, Nia and Ace. Nia, she's meh for me. She's an okay new character. I'm not a big fan of her replacing Edward, but even then, meh. The Steam Team was sort of a pointless thing from the beginning. So, and I can understand what they're trying to do with adding more females to the show. So Nia's just a meh character. She's all right to me. She's basically an Ashima 2.0 just with sass. I'm just saying. Ace, he's an alright character. He's a bit of a I'm not going to say a bad word here. Just for the kiddies. Ace is okay. Peter Andre does a very good job of voicing him. He's an alright character. Yeah, he's sort of a bit of a jerk. Jerk manipulates Thomas and all. He's a bit selfish and all, but still, Peter Andre did a great voice. Did a great voice for him, and especially "Free and Easy," which was definitely one of the best. Was one of my favorite songs. The story, it's okay. Like, I understand taking the concept of Thomas wanting to see the world, but even then, they've sort of over-exaggerated it because Thomas didn't literally want to see the world. He just wanted to get out. He just wanted to get out of the shunting yard just to see the rest of Sodor. He didn't want to actually go ahead and see China and all. So I feel like they've sort of disrespected Audrey by doing that. But still, it's an okay story. Not a big fan of it. Things that were missing from the movie. There were things missing. For example, one of the most important things I feel was missing was Carly actually putting Thomas onto a cargo ship. I feel would have been like, that just seems, you'd think they'd actually put that in, but no, we just get us a bit of a dialogue from Emily during the song saying that what happened. And then I feel like we've also should have seen Mr. Percival actually running the regular railway. Because since the Fat Controller left him in charge, I would have liked to have seen some parts of him being in charge of the actual railway. And plus, we don't see the engines actually worrying for Thomas. Like, now, I know this is a pretty bad example, but even Misty Island Rescue did that right. They showed the engines actually worried, and they also did it in JBS when Thomas was missing. They were worried for him, but here they're just like, they are searching for him, but I would have liked to have seen some parts where they were worrying for him, if you know what I mean. And I feel like we should have also seen a scene of Nia arriving at the docks and then realizing Thomas isn't there, because then I feel like it would have been better if it was like that. Also, I don't understand why Nia went on to China by herself. I feel like she would have just went home, and plus we didn't see I can't even remember, like, the Garrett engine. I can't remember his name. Apparently Nia has no shit. I would have liked to have seen more about that. And plus, we don't know why she wants to go into China, which seems a bit silly for me. Which, then what else were we missing? That's all the things that were missing. The songs were decent enough. They're okay songs. My personal least favorite is, let's see, Where's Thomas? Where's Thomas? Because we've already had that song with Where's Thomas back in the Great Discovery, and so yeah, I feel like that's a bit of a rip off of that. And then Wake Up it's catchy, except I don't like the line, "Don't be a silly choo-choo." Thomas isn't a choo-choo; he's a railway engine. Free and Easy, it's a very catchy. I'll give it that. Though I feel like most of the songs are forgettable. And We're Friends is an okay song. I'm sorry. I've heard from what I've seen, a lot of people like it. I'm not a big fan of it, but hey, as long as more people enjoy it, I'd say. The visuals, the animation, perfect. It's amazing. Except my only problem with the animation is that they say Oh wait, I need an example. Oh yeah, say they took like the 08 design and they basically all they did was add a few changes like they did with the Railway Show diesels. And then they also, what other reskins were there? There was Dart, Henry, Edward. I saw Orion. I don't think many pointed out Orion. They used Hurricanes, but they used Hurricane for a shot of a scrapped engine. I know. But otherwise, other than that, the animation's pretty great. It's great visually, except I'm not too fond of the bouncing. Like, we first saw the bouncing in JBS, and to be honest, the bouncing, it sort of goes on and off. Like, sometimes the engines won't move at all, and then they'll be moving all over the place, like Chuggington. And the reskins I'm not too big of a fan of. Oh, yeah, we also saw a Frankie one as well. Need to add that one onto the list. And so far, I'm not too fond of the reskins, but hey. And then, so overall, Big World Big Adventures it's an alright. I've given it 2 scores if you follow me on Twitter. I've given it 2 scores. As a kids movie, I give it a 9 out of 10 because it's for kids. And sure, it may not be meant for us. Like, even a good few of people on the fandom I've seen have actually really enjoyed it and put it up. Some people prefer it over The Adventure Begins. Like, I've got nothing against that. So, and then as a Thomas movie, I'd say it's worse than Misty Island Rescue as a Thomas movie. But the only redeeming factor this has over Misty Island Rescue is that it's more enjoyable. Yes, it's a fine movie. It's enjoyable, but it's not just a good when you associate it with Thomas. It's terrible. Okay, so since you've seen me review Big World Big Adventures, I think it's only fair that I discuss the first few episodes that I have seen of the season 22. Now, I've only seen them in Italian because they're only in Italian. The English stuff has not come out yet. I think we're getting it mid-September. So anyway, the episodes. Oh boy. So far, I've seen a few of them. I have not seen the Rebecca episode, so I'm not too sure of what my thoughts on are Rebecca, but she seems decent. She seems like an okay character. I'm not too fond that Edward and Henry are getting replaced. Well, and plus, it's sort of nice that the engines are in these different places. Like, Timashed's isn't just the main spot. Like, they have been seen frequently in Big World Big Adventures. In the season 22. Like, Henry's now at Vickerstown, which I think is a nice place for him, and Edward's at Wellsworth, which sort of makes sense because that is his station. And now Duck School, it seems like a pretty fine episode of Duck just looking for a coach, except literally half the time engines are pulling those generic red coaches, unless they were all used up, I don't know. And then he finds one of those generic red coaches that is broken down in like this old abandoned yard, which I'm actually wondering where it is, where it's located on the island. And then he gets turned into a school. That's actually a nice idea because I've been to like these railway places where they've turned coaches into, say, as in their actual dining cars into small restaurants, which I think is a nice touch. And I've seen 2 other episodes. I've seen the one where Thomas is in India, where they basically make a butt joke of Thomas getting put back on the rails by an elephant. That's weird. But not as bad as Rosie's Red. Rosie's Red is the episode that I despise the most. And yet it's very controversial. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people are mad about it. It's a Valentine's Day episode, and with Valentine's Day you can only reference one thing. Romance. And of course there is. Of course there is. Of course there is. So anyway, Thomas and Rosie. People are pairing them together in the episode, and there's Bill and Ben, the little demons they are. Why'd you do this to us? They basically say Thomas and Rosie kissing in a tree. Thomas and Rosie sitting in the tree. And then we actually cut to a dream sequence of them sitting in the tree, doing something that they shouldn't be doing. Because they're engines! I don't get it. Though I will admit, at the end, it is a nice moral. It just doesn't suit Thomas, which I suppose is the way the franchise is going at this point, so... In the end, they decide to be just friends. Then there's a nice moment where the Fat Controller does something nice for Lady Hat, which I think is nice. Some people love it, some people hate it. I hate it because they're engines. How are they meant to have feelings towards each other? Like, yes, I understand that they have human emotions, but it doesn't make sense. They're engines. They can have human emotions, but how are they meant to have intimacy towards each other? So overall, I'm not too fond with season 22. It's a fine season. It's not as bad as the Miller era anyway. I'd say it's just the same as season 21. I'd say it's basically bland for me. I wasn't a big fan of season 21. So... which means it's basically going to be season 7 from now on. So if Mattel decides to change the franchise again, then I don't really care on the future of the franchise. I've basically given up at this point. I'm still collecting and all. I'm doing remakes and all. But hey. Well, we all know that the good days of Thomas were long, long behind us, all the way back in 2000 with Magic Railroad. God dang it. So anyway, Big World of Big Adventures, it's okay. It's meh for me. It's a terrible Thomas movie, but it's a fine movie in general. The season 22, it's an okay season. So that's all I have to say. Goodbye.